Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamhyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Twise Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, thank you so much for joining. We have completed the first chapter of the first canto of Grantharaj Srimad-Bhagavatam, and today we will begin the second chapter. The second chapter is longer than the first chapter, and it contains many important verses and many important siddhantas, philosophical conclusions. So we may not be able to finish the second chapter today. We'll see how it goes. But second chapter is longer and very important. So let's pay full attention. But before we begin, let me begin by asking you, and you can raise your hands, and after you answer, you make sure you mute yourself so that there is no disturbance. So please raise your hands. Who knows? We want to know the 6 questions, because the first chapter, it consists of the 6 questions that the sages asked Sri Suta Goswami. So who can tell the first question? Aradhya Madhavi Mataji, please go ahead.
It's what is Hare Krishna Prabhuji Pranam. What is the absolute and ultimate good for people in general?
Very good. What is the ultimate good for people in general? That was the first question. Ramsham Prabhu, second question.
What is the essence of all the scriptures?
Excellent. Very good. What is the essence of all the scriptures? Mukta Sangha Prabhu, question 3.
Why did Lord Krishna appear himself?
Correct. Why did Lord Krishna appear as the son of Devaki and Vasudev Maharaj? Number 4. Question number 4. Kalindi Priti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu Dandavat Pranam. So we are eager to hear about Krishna and his incarnations.
Very good. And Srila Jiva Goswami comments in the Krama Sandarbha here that here specifically they want to hear about the Purusha avatars. Is that okay?
Yes.
Purusha avatars. So the next question is, Kirtita Sundari Mataji, tell me who are the 3 Purusha avatars? We discussed it last time.
Karanodakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and Shirodakshaya Vishnu.
Excellent, excellent, very good. So now after Kirtita Sundari Mataji, we have Shama. The name gets cut out, so Shama Vallabh Mataji. So what is question number 5? Question number 4 was, we want to know about the Purusha avatars. Question number 5.
They want to hear about the adventures of Leela avatars.
Very good, very good. Can you give some examples of Leela avatars?
Swamsa and
Correct, very good. All these incarnations like Narasimha Bhagwan, Varahadev, Lord Ramachandra. What is Krishna called? Leela Purushottam.
okay.
So although Krishna is avatari, Krishna is also a Leela avatar. So these are all Leela avatars. Those who come and perform Leelas.
All the Dasa avatars will come in Leela avatars.
They are all Leela avatars. Yes, they perform Leelas. So we want to hear about all these Dasha avatars. Okay, so that was the 5th question. After Shama Vallabhi Mataji, we have Shama Kishori Mataji. So Shama Kishori Mataji, can you tell us what was question number 6 asked in the first chapter?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandrat Pranam. So it was
Hare Krishna.
to whom have the religious principles, or of whom have religious principles taken shelter of now that Lord Krishna has departed?
Very good, very good. Excellent. And after Shama Kishori Mataji, we have Shamchandra Prabhuji. Shamchandra Prabhuji, my humble obeisances to you. So Shamchandra Prabhuji, can you please tell us, if it is possible, some good qualities of Suta Goswami that we discussed last time? Why was he selected to speak Srimad-Bhagavatam? Anything that comes to your mind. Some good quality of Suta Goswami.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam. Suta Goswami was already a pure soul. He was knowing all the essence of the Vedic injunctions. He was already, when the sages addressed him as the senior most, because he was having knowledge not only in terms of, see, normally senior most is by, in material calculation, by age, but apart from that, he was having the complete understanding and knowledge of the supreme ultimate. So the sages wanted to relish that nectar from him.
Amazing, amazing. You covered everything, Shamchandra Prabhu. Thank you. So these are the good qualities. Also, he was called as Saumya and Snigdha. So who can explain the meaning of these 2 words in regards to Suta Goswami? He is described as being Saumya and Snigdha. So after Shamchandra Prabhu, we have Archana Bhakti Mataji. Can you explain, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Saumya means he is very gentle. Snigdhasya Shishyasya means he was a very submissive disciple.
Wow, wow.
Because of which he received the blessings of his gurus, and all the knowledge of the scriptures is revealed to him by the blessings of the gurus.
Very good, very good. Thank you, Archana Bhakti Mataji. Then we have Kasturi Manjari Mataji. Kasturi Manjari Mataji, can you quickly tell us some of the symptoms of people of Kaliyug that we discussed in previous lecture?
Prabhuji, short-lived Prayana Alpayusha Sabya Kalo Asmin Yugejana Manda Sumandamatya Manda Bhagya Hi Padrita. So Alpayush means short-lived, and then lazy, misguided, always quarrelsome.
Very good. Very good. Always disturbed. Upadhruta.
Disturbed. Yeah.
Very good. So now, after Kasturi Manjari, we have Sandeep Prabhu. But Sandeep Prabhu already answered this question. So I'm going to ask Sandeep Prabhu something else. So Sandeep Prabhu, can you tell me something about Swadu Swadu Pade Pade? We read that verse. What does it mean?
Swadu Swadu Pade Pade means Swad. Each and every step we progress in hearing Harikatha, it's more tasty and tasty.
Wow, wow. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipadam.
Pratipadam.
Wow.
Purnamrita Swadanam.
Very good, very good. So now we have Kaivalya Prabhu. Let us, all of us, offer our humble prostrated obeisances to His Grace Kaivalya Prabhu. Kaivalya Prabhuji, please accept our collective humble obeisances at your lotus feet. And we request you to please bless us. His Grace Kaivalya Prabhu is a very, very senior devotee in Srila Prabhupada's International Society for Krishna Consciousness. He received his first and second initiation from His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. He's Srila Prabhupada disciple, and he's also a physician and practicing in Philadelphia, and very exalted devotee. So Kaivalya Prabhuji, please bless all of us. Just by seeing you, we are feeling very enlivened. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So after offering our obeisances to His Grace Kaivalya Prabhu, we go to my very dear friend for many years, Pandurang Charan Prabhu. Pandurang Charan Prabhu, thank you. So Pandurang Charan Prabhu, can you tell us something about the difference between Ganga Devi and a pure devotee? In verse number 15, Yat Pada Samshraya Suta Munoyo Prashamayana Sadhya Punanti Upasprishta
Swadhuni Apo Anosevaya.
Wow, wow, wow. So please, can you tell us about this verse? What is it telling us?
So, Prabhupada writes in the purport there that one has to take bath in Ganga many, many times. After that, one can become purified. But just coming in, just once coming in association with a pure devotee has that potency that just by coming once in his association, one can get purified. And you had given also the example that Ganga doesn't flow to Atlanta, but Prabhupada came to Atlanta. So that's the potency of a pure devotee. And there was also a bhajan, which you had mentioned in the last class. Darshane pavitra karo ei tomara gun.
Yeah.
Gangara sparasho hoile paschate pavan. Darshana pavitra karo ei tomara gun.
Wow. Thank you, Pandurang Charan Prabhu. I feel very blessed to have your association, Prabhuji. I have learned so much from you. So thank you, Prabhuji. So now we will go. So after all this happens, so what is happening? Let's take an overview of chapter 1. The sages are trying to perform a yajna for everyone's good, for the good of the society, for everyone. And they are thinking that now Kaliyug has started. These are the horrible symptoms of Kaliyug. And we want to know what is the essence of the scriptures. What is the highest good? We want to know why Krishna came. We want to know, now that Krishna has gone, where has Dharma taken refuge? We want to know about Krishna's Purusha avatars. We want to know about his Leela avatars. So all these 6 questions the sages ask to the most qualified sadhu, that is Srila Suta Goswami. With this understanding, now let us go to chapter number 2. So chapter number 1 was entitled Questions by the Sages of Naimisharanya, headed by Shaunak Rishi. Chapter number 2 of the first canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam is entitled Divinity and Divine Service. What is going to happen now? After being questioned by the sages, now Srila Suta Goswami is going to begin replying. But can someone take a guess how he is going to begin? What happens before we start answering or speaking Harikatha? What do we do before?
Remember a spiritual master.
Yes. Who answered that?
Mukta Sangha Prabhu.
Mukta Sangha Prabhu. Yes. So we remember our spiritual master. So now let's go. I will share my screen. Let's dive into chapter number 2. So this is Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2. So after describing all this, Shri Vyasadev is going to say something very nice. Iti samprashna samhrishto vipranam rauma harshanaihi pratipujya vachastesham pravaktum upachakrame. What is Srila Vyasadev saying? That Ugra Shrava is a name of Srila Suta Goswami, who is Rauma Harsha Nihi, the son of Roma Harshana. Sri Suta Goswami, being fully satisfied by the questions asked by Shaunak Ādi Rishis, he thanked them. Suta Goswami thanked them. He thanked them, and thus after that he attempted to reply. Pravaktum upachakrame. He attempted to reply to all of them after thanking them. So this is very important. Why thanking? Because their questions are so excellent. And anyone who gives us an opportunity to speak about Krishna, we should be very grateful to them. So we thank them and he's speaking. Why is Sutta Goswami called Ugra Shrava? Would anyone like to raise their hand and answer? Why is he called Ugra Shrava? Yes, Sandeep Prabhu. Please unmute yourself.
Prabhuji, Ugra Shrava is like very attentive and attentively listening.
Yes, Ugra, we call Ugra Narsimha.
Yeah.
So one who hears with such attention, that how Krishna describes that it's like a fire sacrifice. Complete full attention. He is listening. Ugra Shrava means to hear. Ugra Shrava, with great attention, he is listening. So this is a quality of Sutta Goswami. What is this quality? That he had heard from his spiritual master Srila Shukdev Goswami with rapt attention. With rapt attention. He was sitting in that sabha when Sri Shukdev Goswami was speaking to Maharaj Parikshit. So this is very important. Sometimes a conversation may be going on between two great personalities. The conversation was going on between Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. But Sutta Goswami was equally on fire. Ugra Shrava. He was equally, just like Parikshit Maharaj, he was on fire, attentively listening. So that is very important. When we listen to the lectures, we should not think, this lecture Prabhupada gave in 1967, 1968. No, Srila Prabhupada is giving lecture today, right now. And he is speaking directly to me. That is Ugra Shrava. That is how we should hear, with great attention. So in this first verse, the importance of attentive hearing is stressed. Now let's go to verse number 2. Verse number 2 and verse number 3 are verses for memorization, my dear friends. We have to memorize these two verses. Verse number 2 and verse number 3. And these two verses are the Mangalacharan verses spoken by Sri Sutta Goswami, and they are also the Pranam Mantra for Srila Shukadev Goswami. So they are very important. And this is a little different meter. It's not the usual Anushtup meter. This is a little longer meter. I think this is Vasanta Tilak meter. So how do we say it? You can sing all these verses in any melody that you like. You don't have to follow the melody that I am singing them in. You can recite them in any melody you like. But I'm just showing this. Yam pravajantam anupetam apeta krityam dvaipayano viraha katara juhava putreti tanmayataya taravo bhinedus tam sarva bhuta hridayam munimanatosmi. Very beautiful verse. Srila Sutta Goswami is saying. Srila Sutta Goswami is glorifying Srila Shukdev Goswami by saying, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Shukdev Goswami, who is a great sage, who can enter the hearts of everyone. What does this mean? Sarva Bhuta Hridayam. Shukdev Goswami is in everyone's heart. So there are many layers of understanding this. Please pay attention. First layer is Sri Shukdev Goswami is actually one of the incarnations of Krishna. There are many incarnations mentioned in Srimad-Bhagavatam, and one of them is Sri Shukadev Goswami. Shripad Narad Muni also is one of them. Srila Vyasadeva is one of them. So Srila Shukadev Goswami is incarnation of Krishna. So in that sense, Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishto Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hridayasya Arjuna Tishtati. By that principle, by that Siddhanta, we can understand that Srila Shukdev Goswami is present in everyone's heart. That is one understanding. Second understanding is the message of Shukdev Goswami, it penetrates the heart. Shukdev Goswami is the speaker of Srimad-Bhagavatam, and the message of Srimad-Bhagavatam is so sublime, so sweet, that it enters the hearts of everyone. So by speaking Srimad-Bhagavatam, which is so sweet and touching to the heart, Sri Shukdev Goswami has the potency to enter the hearts of everyone. That is second meaning. And the third meaning is that Shukdev Goswami is a powerful sadhu and he has compassion for everyone. So Sutta Goswami is praying that, my dear Shukdev Goswami, I do not have power to elevate these 80,000 sadhus who are sitting in Naimisharanya asking me questions. I don't have power, but if you enter their hearts, then you can illuminate their hearts with the answers to all the 6 questions that they have asked me. This is the third layer of meaning. So this Sarva Bhuta Hridayam Muni has such deep meaning. Let me offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Shukdev Goswami, who can enter the hearts of all. Okay? He can enter the hearts of all. What is the proof, Sutta Goswami? What is the proof? So he says, when Sri Shukdev Goswami went away to take up sannyas, the renounced order of life, immediately after taking his birth, leaving home without undergoing any reformation, no Upanan Samskar, he did not get the sacred thread, Brahman thread, nothing. Although he is the son of the greatest Brahman, Srila Vyasadeva, he just walked out without any samskars, without any purificatory ceremonies observed by the higher castes. What happened when he left? His father, Srila Vyasadeva, fearing separation from him, viraha katara, fearing separation from him, he cried out, "Oh my son, putreti, putra iti, oh my son," he called out. And then what happened? Tarava, only the trees which were absorbed in the same feelings of separation from Shukdev Goswami, like Vyasadeva was. What did they do? They echoed in response to the begrieved father. So when, imagine now the scene, Shukdev Goswami is born. First of all, for 12 years, he was not coming out of the womb of Srila Vyasadeva's good wife. Then, after being given a guarantee by Lord Krishna that you will not fall prey to Maya, you appear. You have a very important seva to do. Appear. Then Shukdev Goswami appeared and immediately he walked away into the forest to take sannyas. And naturally, Srila Vyasadeva, he was attached to his son. He wanted to do some ceremony, give him knowledge, give him the Gayatri mantra. He just left. So he ran after him. He said, "My dear son, putra, my dear son, please wait." He was calling out. But what happened? Did Shukdev Goswami stop and look behind and reply? No, he did not reply. But Shukdev Goswami, who has the power to enter the hearts of everyone, he entered the hearts of the trees. And through the trees, Tarava, he replied to his guru, to his father. How did he reply? By simply echoing back the words of his father. So this is a proof that he is Sarva Bhuta Hridayam, because he could enter the hearts of the trees also to reply to his father. So this is a glorification of Srila Shukdev Goswami, who is such a powerful Muni and who is completely detached. And after birth, he is simply left in search of Krishna. So let us chant this one more time. Shri Suta Uvacha Yam pravajantamanupeta krityam dvaipayano virahakatara ajuhava putreti tanmayataya taravo bhinedu stam sarva bhutaridayam munimanatosmi. Now please raise your hand. One of you can please recite this. So how about Jog Sonali CTR? Can you unmute and sing?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I will just chant in a different meter.
Absolutely. Any melody, no problem.
Suta Uvacha Yam Pravarajantam Manupetam Apekrityam Dvaipayano Virahakatar Ajuha Putreti tanmayataya tarvo bhinedus tvam sarva bhutrudaya munimanatosmi.
Very good. Very good. So everybody understood the meaning? See here. Pravrajantam means while going away. Anupetam means, upetam means to accept. Anupetam means not to accept the sacred thread. And apeta, without undergoing any ceremonies. Apeta krityam, without performing any prescribed duties that are to be done after one is born. Nothing, not caring for anything. The son of Shri Krishna, Dvaipayana Vyas, just left. And his father, Viraha Katara, His heart was breaking in separation from his son. Ajuhava, he called Putra, Putra iti. He called his son. How did he call? Tanmayata se pukara. Tanmayata se pukara. His father was calling with so much tanmayata. Hey Putra, oh my son, please come. But what happened? Tarava abhinedu. Only the trees responded back. To that renounced Sri Shukdev Goswami, who has the power to enter everyone's heart through his beautiful narrations of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Sarva Bhuta Hridaya Munim. Natosmi. Anatos, A means it becomes a verb. I offer my obeisances. Anatasmi. We say na, Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gana Natibhi. Nata means namaskar karna, to offer obeisances. In Shad Goswami Ashtakam, Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gana Natibhi. Kala Vasani Kritau. How did the Goswamis of Vrindavan spend their time? Kala Vasani Kritau. How did they spend their time? Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gana Natibhi. They would do minimum Sankhya, at least 1 or 2 lakh names, at least 128 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day. Sankhya Purvaka Nam. Sankhya Purvak Gan. And Gan. They would sing different Ashtakams. They would sing different verses of Srimad-Bhagavatam. They would sing the Gopi Geet, Viraha Geet, Bhramar Geet. Different verses from Srimad-Bhagavatam that Mahaprabhu relished, they would sing. And with rule that at least so much Shastra we will read every day. Sankhya Purvak Nam, Gan. And Kirtan also. Gan also refers to, they would do Nam Sankirtan together every day for a fixed number of hours, minimum. Sankhya Purvak Nam, Gan and Nativi. And they would offer fixed number of obeisances. Natosmi. Yeah, so Nati. They would offer obeisances like Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. 1,000 obeisances to Krishna every day. 2,000 obeisances to all the Vaishnavas every day. So there is Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gan Nata. So Nata. Natosmi. Anatosmi. I offer my obeisances to that Shukdev Goswami. Okay? This was the first verse. Now second verse. I will sing this once. Then one of you can raise your hands and you can also sing. Same meter it is. Verse number 3. Yaha svanubhavam akhila shruti saramekam adhyatma deepam atiti shatam tamondham samsarinam karunaya purana guhyam tam vyasa sunumupayami gurum munina. So who would like to sing this? Shraddha Mataji, please go ahead. I'm trying to give opportunity to all the devotees. Okay, so if you have already answered, I may not ask you to answer again. So Shraddha Mataji, please go ahead.
Yahasvanubhavam akhila shruti saramekam adhyatma deepam atitirish shatam tamundham samsarinam karunayah purana guhyam tam vyasa sunamupayami gurun muninam.
Wonderful. So you saw everybody, Shraddha Mataji sang it like Brahma Samhita, because Brahma Samhita also is same meter, Vasanta Tilak. So we can sing it like Brahma Samhita, this verse. So now let's read the translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Sutta Goswami is saying, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Shukdev Goswami, who is the spiritual master of all the sages. Let us see what is the Sanskrit term used for spiritual master of all the sages. Can anyone unmute and tell where the Gurum Muninam? He is the Guru of all the Munis at the end of the shlok. Gurum Muninam. So sab Muniyon ke jo Guru hai, the Guru of all Gurus, that is Shukdev Goswami. He is the spiritual master of all the sages. And who is he? Vyasa Sunu. Vyasa Sunu means son. We have our Sachi Sunu. Sachi Sunu Ashtakam Vashra Raghunath Das Goswami. So Vyasa Sunu means son of Vyasdev, Shukdev Goswami. Let me offer my respectful obeisances to Srila Shukdev Goswami, who is the spiritual master of all the sages. He is the son of Srila Vyasdev, and who? Now see, out of Karuna, out of his great compassion. You see the word Karuna here anywhere? Karunaya. See this? Out of his Karunaya. So when we read the translation, we should map it to the Sanskrit words so that it becomes easy to memorize the verse. So that's why Srila Prabhupada gave us word-to-word meaning. So who out of his great compassion, Karunaya, for who? Samsarinam. For all of us who are stuck in this samsar. Samsara dava nalalidhaloka tranaya karunya ghana ghana tvam. So all of us who are stuck in this samsara sagar, which is dustara, very difficult to cross over. Daiviyesha gunamai mama maya durattaya. Very difficult. For all of us who are stuck in this samsara sagar, our Shukdev Goswami, out of compassion, karunaya, he has come. So we are struggling to cross over the darkest regions of material existence. Tamo andham. Tamo andham. Very dark. We are blinded because of the darkness. Our eyes cannot see in darkness. So for our sake, so for whom is Srimad-Bhagavatam meant? For all of us. For all of us. Because we are struggling in this material world. He spoke this most confidential knowledge. What is the word used? Purana Guhyam. Look at this. Purana Guhyam. This is confidential knowledge. Everybody cannot understand it. It is confidential knowledge. And it is the supplement to all the Vedic knowledge. And he is speaking it after personally assimilating it by experience. What is Srimad-Bhagavatam? Look at this. It is Akhila Shruti Saram. So it's not just us who are saying that Srimad-Bhagavatam is the essence of all scriptures. Nigama Kalpataru Galitar Phalam. Not just, it is our Sutta Goswami is clearly saying it is Shruti. Shruti means all the Vedic literature, specifically the Vedas and the Upanishads. Sometimes people say that, oh, this Bhagavatam, it's a recent Puran. Srila Prabhupada explains this in the purports. Oh, it's a recent Puran. It was written very recently, and it is Puran. It is Smriti. It is not Shruti. Shruti is higher. Shruti Saram. This is the essence, Baba. Essence of all the Shruti Shastra. Essence of the highest Vedic literature. Nigama means Vedas. Nigama Kalpatarur Galitam Phalam. Srimad-Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit of the Vedic tree. So, again it is repeated here. Shruti Saram. Akhila Shruti Saram. Of all the Vedas, this is the best.
What is the next?
Everyone, please.
Another.
Oh, sorry, mute.
English.
Please mute yourself, dear devotees. Thank you. And what is now please pay attention, this is very important. How does Shukdev Goswami speak according to his disciple Sutta Goswami? Swa Anubhavam. He is not speaking theoretically, my dear friends. He is speaking with realization. This is an important point. I'm going to emphasize this point. Please listen carefully for the next 30 seconds. Who should we hear Harikatha from? We should hear Acharya Vani. We should hear the words of Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Varga. It is Acharya Vani that is going to create transformation. Because there are 3 types of Harikatha. Please note down. There are 3 types of Harikatha. There is Harikatha. I highlighted myself because I want all of you to look at me. There are 3 types of Harikatha. There is Harikatha coming from here. There is Harikatha coming from here. And there is Harikatha coming from here. Harikatha coming from here is intellectual Harikatha. You use flowery language, mastery over English, mastery over Hindi, mastery over Sanskrit, breaking down intellectual, different grammatical rules, explaining and quoting from here, quoting from there. The audience are, wow, what was that? What was that? That was awesome. A very intellectual presentation, quoting many verses, impressing others with our intelligence. By Krishna giving intelligence, we are just simply astounding the audience with our fabulous presentation. That is the Harikatha coming from here, from the brain. Second Harikatha is Harikatha coming from the belly. What is that? We want to do Harikatha and then we are expecting Dakshina. Are Prabhuji ne Harikatha ki thoda Dakshina, give some, where are the envelopes? Let the envelopes come. Or worse, we charge for Harikatha. I will tell you a true story. I am not lying, my dear friends. There was a Kirtan festival and nice Kirtaniyas were invited and they were saying, person who is going to sing, who is going to lead the Kirtan will charge 4,000 rupees per hour. Mridanga player will charge 3,000 rupees per hour. and Kartal players will charge 1,000 rupees per hour. This is a true recent incident. This is very shameful. We should never attend kirtan of such people who are doing it for money. And they look at the clock. As soon as 1 hour is over, the Kartal stops, the Mridanga stops, the kirtan stops. Prabhu, we jana hai, 1 घंटा हो गया. और करना है तो फिर वो नया next hour शुरू हो जाए तो फिर आप double देना तो हम और 1 घंटा करते. Is this what is Harikatha? Is this what is Harikirtan? This is business. So this is the second, coming from here, from the belly. You want to do kirtan, you want to do Harikatha, but for the sake of money. And the third Harikatha is Swa Anubhavam, what is mentioned in this verse. It is coming from the heart. After having assimilated, digested knowledge is coming. Srila Prabhupada. Did Srila Prabhupada have to show any PowerPoint presentations, or do you hear Prabhupada singing these verses in very nice Sanskrit melodies? No, but Prabhupada's Katha is so touching to the heart. It has transformed the hearts of thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and it will continue to do so. Srila Prabhupada's book, Srila Prabhupada's Vani, his Harikatha, his Kirtan, sitting in Tompkins Square Park, Srila Prabhupada did not even have a mridanga. It was just some drum with one side. He was just hitting it and singing for 4 hours, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And hippies became happy by hearing that Kirtan, because that is coming from the heart. Swa Anubhavam. So remember, there are 3 types of Harikatha. This, and this. And this is what we should hear. Harikatha that comes from the heart of a sadhu, who has heard it from his guru, from the ears, Karna Randhra. It has gone to the heart. He has assimilated, digested that knowledge, experienced it, realized it, and now it is an outpouring of the heart. It is not coming from here. It is not coming from here. It is self. Prabhupada did not charge money for Harikatha. He used to wash the plates of the hippies when they would come to hear his Monday, Wednesday, Friday Bhagavad Gita classes in the evening. That is Srila Prabhupada. He would cook for them, feed them selflessly, not expecting anything from them. This is very important, my dear friends. I wanted to emphasize this point. So now we will go back to Srimad-Bhagavatam. Also, one thing I wanted to clarify. Last time, one of you had asked a question. How do we know that there are these 6 questions? So our acharyas have given that. And you can see here, Srila Prabhupada himself is writing in the purport to the first verse of this chapter. The sages of Naimisharanya asked Suta Goswami 6 questions. Srila Prabhupada is writing. And so he answered them one by one. Just wanted to make that point clear, that these 6 questions are not imaginary. Srila Prabhupada himself is saying that there are 6 questions. Okay. So now, let me read it again. Srila Suta Goswami is saying, let me offer my respectful obeisances to Srila Shukadeva Goswami, who is Jagat Guru. And he is Guru. He is the Guru of all the sages. He is the son of Vyasdev. So by birth and by qualification, he is very, very exalted. And who is filled with compassion. He is filled with compassion. Out of his compassion for those who are gross materialists, who are struggling to cross this Tamo Andham, this darkest region of samsara, material existence. For them, he spoke this Purana Guhyam, this most confidential Bhagavat Puran, which is Akhila Shruti Saram. It is the cream of all Vedic knowledge. And he spoke it not just theoretically, not to earn money, not to impress the sadhus who had come on the banks of Ganga, not to impress Maharaj Parikshit, thinking that after hearing this, accepting him as his guru, Parikshit Maharaj will give a lot of donation to Shukdev Goswami. He spoke the Bhagavatam and walked back into the forest, completely Digambar, without complete akinchan, Swa Anubhavam. He is speaking through Anubhav. After assimilating it, realized knowledge. Okay? So Srila Suta Goswami has offered obeisances to his Guru Maharaj, Srila Shukdev Goswami. After that, he will continue his Mangalacharan. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udiraye. I do not know if this verse is there in the memorization PDF, but this is a very important verse, so please memorize this. I am sure most of you know this. This is a standard Mangalacharan verse before any Srimad-Bhagavatam class. Again, Srila Suta Goswami is offering obeisances to the transcendental twins. Who are the transcendental twins? Nara and Narayan Rishi. He is offering his obeisances to Mother Saraswati. who is an expansion of Srimati Radharani. He's offering his obeisances to his Param Guru Maharaj, Srila Vyasadeva, who gave this knowledge to. So see, he's going up in the Parampara. First he's offering obeisances to his Gurudev. Then he's offering obeisances to his Param Gurudev, Vyasadeva. So beautiful it is. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udiraye. Before reciting the Srimad-Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, Jayam, one should offer respectful obeisances to the personality of Godhead, Lord Narayan, to the transcendental twins, Naranara and Rishis, who are the supermost human beings, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto the author himself, Srila Vyasadeva. Author himself, Srila Vyasadeva. So this is what Suta Goswami is saying. There was something else I wanted to say. So these are the Mangalacharan verses, and then Srila Suta Goswami is continuing ahead. This is verse number 5. What I remembered was I had promised that one of you will sing this third verse. So quickly raise your hand who wants to sing this the Mangalacharan verse. Someone who has not sung yet. Vaishnavi Mataji, please go ahead.
Yasvanubhavam akhila shruti saramekam adhyatmadipam atititir-shatam tamondham samsarinam karunayaha purana guhyam tam vyasasunam upayami gurum muninam. Very good, Vaishnavi Mataji. Thank you. Okay, so now we go to verse number 5. Okay. Munaya sadhu prishtoham bhavadbhir lokamangalam yatkrita Krishna samprashno yenatma suprasidati. Srila Suta Goswami is replying to Shaunak Ādi Rishis that, O sages, I have been justly questioned by you. Your questions are worthy. Why? Krishna samprashna. Because they are pertaining to Lord Krishna. And so they are lokamangalam. They are for the welfare of the whole world. Only questions of this sort, that are Krishna conscious questions, are capable of Atma suprasidati, completely satisfying the self. Suta Goswami is saying. So what is Suta Goswami saying? Thank you for questioning me. Your questions are perfect. They are capable of benefiting everyone, and they will lead to Yanatma suprasidati, completely satisfying the self. That was the crux of verse number 5. Again, Suta Goswami is encouraging and appreciating and expressing his gratitude to those who have asked him such nice questions. This is very good. If someone asks a good question, we should appreciate. Vaishnavism means encouraging and appreciating each other, my dear friends. Now, Suta Goswami is going to actually answer questions 1 and 2. What were question 1 and 2? What is the highest good for everyone? And what is the essence of all the scriptures? These two questions in one shot, in one verse, our Suta Goswami, in a very brilliant way, is going to answer. This is our memorization verse. Very, very important verse. If someone asks us, what is real Dharma? What is the essence of Dharma? What is the essence of Shastra? We can quote this verse. Everything is there in this verse, in essence. Okay? Suta Goswami says, verse number 6 and 7 are the answers to question 1 and 2. What is verse number 6? Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje ahaitu api pratihata yayatma suprasidati. The supreme occupation, paro dharma. There are many dharmas. There is kula dharma, there is jati dharma, there is pati dharma, patni dharma, there is desha dharma, there is varna dharma, ashram dharma. There are many, many dharmas, my dear friends. What is paro dharma? What is the ultimate jaiva dharma? The dharma of the jiva. What is the ultimate dharma? That is Bhagavad dharma. It is bhakti. And whose bhakti? Yato bhaktir adhokshaje. Adhokshaja is the name of Krishna. The supreme occupational duty, dharma for all humanity. This is everyone. Not whether you are Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Jew, agnostic, atheist, doesn't matter. For everyone.
The supreme occupation for everyone, Savai Pumsam, for mankind, for everyone is Yato Bhakti Radhokshaje, loving devotional service unto the transcendental Lord Krishna. Such devotional service must be how? Ahaituki. It should be without any motive. See, just now we saw there are three types of Harikatha. Harikatha that is done to impress others with one's intellectual presentation, or Harikatha that is done to get some dakshina or prestige. People should like me, should share my lecture, I should get more views, more people should join. Are Zoom full hua ki nahi? All this attitude is a disease. Because there is hetu. What is the hetu? It is Kanaka, Kamini, Kirti. Three Ks, which are very dangerous. Kanaka means gold, money. Kamini means attracting others for sense gratification. And Kirti means prestige and fame. We want to become popular. We want to be famous. This is a big disease. We will get all these things. Problem is we will not get Krishna. Because Krishna is someone who accepts people who are walking on the path of Ananya Bhakti. Ananyas Chintayantoma. If we are doing Chintan of other things, Kanaka, Kamini, Kirti, money, sense gratification, and fame, that's what we will get. We will not get Krishna. Supreme Dharma is loving devotional service to Krishna, which is ahaituki, unmotivated. There is no hetu. There is nothing. Hey Krishna, I don't want anything. Like Kola Vijay Sridhar, like Prahlad Maharaj, like Haridas Thakur. Nahi chahiye. We don't want anything. We just want to serve you. Radha Krishna Pranamor, Yugala Kishore, Jivane, Marane Gati, Aranahimu. I don't want anything else. Vrindavaneshwari Radha, Krishna Vrindavaneshwara, Jivane, Nidhane, Nityam, Radha Krishna Gatirmam. All I want is Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. I just want to serve you and please you, my Lord. Ahaituki. And it should be apratihata, unbroken. Not that only Sunday, when we go for Sunday feast, we wear dhoti, kurta, tilak is there, and we want to put our best self forward in front of devotees. Yes, I am a devotee in good standing. And then Monday to Friday, we are not Krishna conscious. Saturday, if the Bhakti Virsha gets cancelled, we are very happy. Now I can go for a movie. Now I can go shopping. I can just browse in the mall, or I can switch on Netflix, or I can go to some restaurant. Oh, today there is no Bhakti Virsha, so there is no food. Why should I cook? Let us order Uber Eats, or let us go to a restaurant. How can we get Krishna if we are behaving like this? Our anna should be very pure. Whatever we are taking in through our senses should be Krishna conscious. Food, what we are watching with our eyes, the music that we are hearing with our ears, everything should be Krishna conscious. Ananyas Chintayantoma. So that is the meaning of real bhakti. That is our dharma. Ahaituki and it should be unbroken. Unbroken. Bhakti should never be interrupted because it is Jaiva dharma. Others are Naimittik dharma. Please pay attention, my dear friends. Sometimes devotees ask if there is a death in the family. Sutak. Now I cannot chant. I cannot touch Srimad-Bhagavatam. I cannot go to temple. I cannot worship my Thakurji at home. This is very wrong. We have to understand there are two types of dharmas. There is Nitya dharma and there is Naimittik dharma. All these things like Sutak and others, they are Naimittik dharmas. They are occasional dharmas. But our Nitya dharma should never get eclipsed by the Naimittik dharma. Nitya dharma always takes precedence. We must make sure that just like how we eat, we must make sure our Thakurji is being served. He is getting food, he is getting all the artis and everything that are done. If we cannot do, we have to arrange for others to do it. But Nitya dharma should never get compromised because of Naimittik dharma. This is very important. This is the meaning of apratihata. There should be no interruption in our devotional service. Only if we do it like that, then Atma suprasidati, we will be completely satisfied. Otherwise, what will happen, my dear friends? We come to Krishna consciousness, we practice it half-heartedly. And then what happens? We lose our taste. And we get attracted to other things in life. Then we start looking outside Krishna consciousness. And then we say, we have been in Krishna consciousness for 10, 15, 20 years, but kuch nahi ho raha hai. Kuch nahi ho raha hai because we are not practicing it properly. The medicine is proven. Thousands and thousands of devotees have gone back to Godhead. So the treatment has stood the test of time. Hare Krishna Mahamantra works. Krishna consciousness works. Nam Sankirtan works. Deity worship works. Srimad-Bhagavatam works. It worked on Dundavi. It has worked on so many people. Srimad-Bhagavatam. It works. The process works. If it is not working on us, that means we are not following the process properly. We are not taking the medicine the way we are supposed to take. That is the meaning of tat tat karma pravartanat. We not only need enthusiasm, determination, and patience, but we also have to follow the process the way it is given, rules and regulations. We have to follow it properly. Then, yanatma suprasidati. Then we will get complete satisfaction, we will get higher taste, and then we will not leave. We will not bloop. We will not leave Krishna consciousness. Devotees leave Krishna consciousness because of two things. There is no third reason. Please listen carefully. Anybody falls down from Krishna consciousness only because of two things. One is improper sadhana. Improper sadhana, not chanting at least 16 rounds during Brahma Muhurta, just like Srila Prabhupada taught us, attentively, without doing anything. Before 7 o'clock, our 16 rounds must be over. Nicely, good quality. Sitting in one asana, not walking and chanting. Properly, like Srila Prabhupada would say. If you hear Prabhupada's tape also, he says, sit properly. In the middle of chanting, he's telling us. Sitting properly, not walking, standing, no. Sit properly and chant your at least 16 rounds attentively. Follow the morning program, Samsara Dava, Tulsi Aarti, DT worship, Bhagavatam class every day. If we are following, we are eating only Krishna Prasad. We are not eating restaurant food. We are not eating food cooked by Vishayi people who are sense gratifiers, who are materialists. If we protect ourselves, all the ahar, all the intake is pure, then we will get a taste in Krishna consciousness. We will never fall down. So first reason for fall down is improper sadhana. And number two is Vaishnava Ninda, Vaishnava Aparadha. Criticizing. We should not find faults. Dosha Drishti. We should not criticize devotees. Those who criticize devotees, they fall down. History is witness to this. So therefore, there's a meaning of Atma Suprasidati. Krishna consciousness is very simple for the simple. And it will give us tremendous taste and satisfaction if we follow it properly. We have to remember two things: good sadhana and don't criticize anybody. Then we are safe. Follow what Prabhupada has given us and don't criticize. Then we are safe. So that is the meaning of this. Very important verse. Now, this is also a reply to what is the essence of all the scriptures. What is the highest good? Both these verses are reply to those two questions. After Savai Pumsam Paro Dharma Yatho Bhakti Radhakshaja, so 7th verse comes. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayat Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Cha Yad Ahetukam. Very beautiful. By rendering devotional service, Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga. By rendering devotional service to Bhagavan Vasudev, Shri Krishna, what happens? Janayati, it produces. It gives rise to what? Ashu, very quickly. What? Vairagyam. And Jnanam, knowledge. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga Shikshartameka Purusha Purana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shariradhari Kripam Buddhiryastamaham Prapadde. Srila Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said this about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti. This Vairagya, detachment. What is the difference between Tyag and Vairagya? Tyag means to see something, be attracted, but no. I have taken a vow, I will not do this. And to give it up. That is called Tyag. But Vairagya means when we see that thing, we don't even think that this is something worth enjoying. Like if a piece of steak, if a piece of meat is kept in front of us, will our mouth water? No. Our lips will curl in distaste, like Srila Yamunacharya says, and will spit at the thought. That will happen to meat eating. But is it happening to all other things that are detrimental to Krishna consciousness? That we have to analyze in our heart. That is called Vairagya. To not even look at these forbidden things as something enjoyable. They are disgusting because they are not connected to Krishna. Movie, not connected to Krishna. Why? Restaurant food, why should I eat restaurant food? Pay money and eat something that is going to spoil my consciousness? I don't even know who has cooked it. They have not cooked it with love for Krishna. It is not offered to Krishna. Why should my tongue be unchaste to Krishna by eating some restaurant food? That is Vairagya. To not to think, oh, Papa John's, oh, Pizza Hut, McDonald's. I wish I could go and eat those burgers. No. That means we have not made advancement. But Vairagya means to see those things and not think that they are worth enjoying. That is Vairagya. So if we worship Krishna, Vairagya will come quickly if we worship properly. And Jnanam, knowledge, easily it comes. Because Krishna is the source of all knowledge, isn't it? From Krishna comes knowledge and remembrance. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto matah smritir jnanam apohanam cha. So this is the answer to the first two questions. Now, verse 8 to verse number 15, the theme changes a little bit. The whole theme is that it is only bhakti that is to be gained by one's prescribed work in this world. There is nothing other than bhakti that is important in this world. This point is going to be emphasized by Suta Goswami. So I'm not going to read all these verses, but see, I told you, verses, each and every verse is so important in this chapter. This verse, all of you know. Dharma swanushrita pumsam vishwaksena katha suya notpadayad yadiratim shrama eva hi kevalam. We quote this often. Notpadayad yadiratim shrama eva hi kevalam. The occupational activities a man performs according to his own position, according to Varnashram Dharma, are useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the personality of Godhead. Vishwaksena Katha. If we don't develop ruchi, rati, if we don't develop attraction and love for Krishna Katha, Vishwaksena Katha means Krishna Katha, Harikatha. If we are not developing love for Harikatha, we don't feel like hearing Harikatha. That means whatever we are doing, we are on the wrong path. It is Shrama Eva Hi Kevalam. It is just useless labor. So all our duties, all our activities are supposed to lead what? They are supposed to lead us to get attracted to Krishna. Sarva Akarshitahi Iti Krishna. Krishna by nature is all attractive. And if we are not getting attracted, that means we are like an iron filing covered with layers and layers and layers of rust. And therefore we are not feeling attraction to the magnet of Krishna and Krishna Katha. That we have to understand. And bhakti means to remove the layers of rust and become pure iron, so we get attracted to Krishna. So that is what that point is being emphasized here. What is why is Varnashram Dharma not Paro Dharma is explained in this verse number 9. The theme is why Varnashram Dharma is not Paro Dharma. Because previously it was said Savai Pumsa Paro Dharmo Yato Bhakti Radokshari. So Varnashram Dharma can become Paro Dharma if it is Daivi Varnashram. What Srila Prabhupada taught us, that all the ashrams, all the varnas are completely with Krishna in the central focus. That is very important. So why it is not? Because if it doesn't, so why Varnashram Dharma is not Paro Dharma? It is not if it does not lead to Rati. That was verse number 8. If it does not, Na Utpaday Yadi Rati, then it is Shrama Eva Hi Kevalam. If it is leading to taste in Krishna Katha, then it is very good. Then that Varnashram Dharma is very good. Verse number 9. What is the theme? The theme is that our occupational duties are meant for ultimate liberation. Ultimate liberation. Apavargasya. So what is the translation? All occupational engagements are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. We should not perform dharma for artha. Isn't this a complete paradigm shift? That's why it is said that Kaitav Dharma is completely kicked out of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Normally we hear about the 4 Purushadha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, where you practice Dharma with the intention of getting Artha and Kama. We want to remain in the boundaries of Dharma and enjoy. And we want to make economic development also. And then ultimately we'll think of Mukti, liberation. Dharma, Artha, Kama, and then Moksha. But here Srimad-Bhagavatam is saying all occupational engagements are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. And of course, the liberation here, we know what it means. Liberation means Kalir dosha nidhe rajan astiveka mahan guna kirtana deva Krishna se mukta sangha paramrajat. We go to Krishna. Furthermore, according to the sages, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service, dharma eka antasya, who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service, should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. Kama labhaya. We should never do that. No. We should never use our dharma to get material gain. Otherwise, we will be stuck on the platform of sense gratification. That is the theme of this verse. That we should not perform dharma
for artha. What dharma we should perform? We should perform paro dharma, which is ahaituki. See, connected to savaya pumsa paro dharma, yato bhaktir adhokshaje ahaituki, apratihata, yayatma suprasiddhi. So that point is being emphasized. What is the theme of verse number 10? That life's desires should not be towards sense gratification. Again and again, that point is being stressed. Again, I'm not reading the verse to save time. Life's desire should never be directed towards sense gratification. So, kam is clearly negated here. Here, artha was negated. You saw in the previous verse, dharma, artha, here, artha. Look at this word, artha. Artha was negated. Now, kam is negated. Look at this. You see how beautiful Srimad-Bhagavatam is? Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. All these desires have been purified. So, verse number 10 says, life's desire should not be directed towards kam, sense gratification. Life's desire should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation. Like Srila Prabhupada said, keep the body and mind together. Since a human being is meant for enquiry about absolute truth, nothing else should be the goal of one's works. How clear Srimad-Bhagavatam is. Uncompromising. Uncompromising. 100% pure devotional service is being spoken about. The theme is, verse number 10, life's desires are not for sense gratification, but life's desire should be jivasa tattva jidnyasa, to know about tattva, Krishna tattva, bhakti tattva, rasa tattva, prema tattva. That is what we should know. Now this verse is memorization verse. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdyate. Very important verse, very, very often quoted verse, and we have to memorize this. The Tattvavid, the learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth, call this Jivasa Tattva Jidnyasa, the ultimate goal of what we are supposed to understand. They call it this non-dual substance. Non-dual substance means in this substance there is no duality. There is no good and bad. There is no happiness and pain. There is no purity and impurity. No, this duality is not there in this substance. This is the supreme absolute truth. What is this? It is known by three phases, known as three phases, in three phases, realized in three phases: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Brahman is the bodily effectiveness of Krishna, as explained in Brahma Samhita and Chaitanya Charitamrita. Paramatma is a form of Shirodakshaya Vishnu, who is in everyone's heart. Sarvasya Mridi Sannivishto. And Bhagavan is Krishnastu Bhagavana Swayam, Krishna himself, the absolute truth. So absolute truth is understood and realized in three features: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Again, example Srila Prabhupada gives: Brahman is like the sun rays, Paramatma is like the sun planet, and Bhagavan realization is to understand the sun god, who is giving the potency to the sun planet and producing the sun rays. That is Bhagavan realization. So Bhagavan realization is complete realization. In Brahman realization, it is Satchidananda. There is eternality, there is happiness, everything is there. But in Brahman, there is no Leela. Hare Krishna. In Brahman, there is no Karuna. Like, hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu. How Krishna does Karuna to Gajendra. How Krishna does Karuna to the Brajvasis when they are suffering, seeing Krishna in the coils of Kaliya. So to save them, he quickly chastised Kaliya and came out. So this Karuna, when gopis were crying out, Rurudu Suswaram Rajan Krishna Darshana Lalasa, they were crying for Krishna, Gopi Geet. What happened? Tasam Avirvu Shauri. Krishna immediately appeared. This is Karuna. So this Karuna is not there in Brahman. And Roop is not there. Krishna's Rupa Madhuri is not there. I hope everybody is understanding. Paramatma, there is Rupa Madhuri. We can see the beauty of Paramatma. And there is Karuna also. There is Daya, there is mercy, compassion. How Paramatma was compassionate to Dhruva Maharaj. That will come in the 4th canto. So compassion is there in Paramatma and Roop is there, but there is no Leela. Hare Krishna. There is no Leela. But Bhagwan realization, there is Roop Madhuri, there is Karuna, and there is Leela. So Bhagwan realization is the complete realization. Then we are going to cover till verse number 15 today, my dear friends. Verse number 12. What is the theme of verse number 12? The process of realizing the absolute truth. Acha. This is good formula. How do we realize the absolute truth? That is explained in this verse. The seriously inquisitive student or sage, sadhu, well equipped with knowledge, jnana yuktaya, well equipped with knowledge, and what else? Also with detachment. Vairagya yuktaya, jnana and vairagya yuktaya, realizes the absolute truth by what? Rendering devotional service. Bhaktasya. Devotional service in terms of what he has heard from the Vedanta Shruti. Shruta Grihitaya. So one who has heard like this with great intensity, who is he? What is he called? Quickly unmute and tell. We just read that verse, that word in the beginning of our class today. What is that word for one who hears with full attention?
Ugra.
Ugra
Shravana.
Yes. Thank you. That means everybody is awake. I didn't know whether all of you, I bored all of you so much that you slept off. So yes. So one can realize the absolute truth by rendering service in terms of hearing very attentively. Ugra Shrava. So sitting with a straight back in a Bhagavatam class, in Harikatha, and hearing attentively is also a very great service. Very great service. So we should seriously be inquisitive, and we should develop knowledge and detachment, and we should render devotional service and hear very, very attentively. Swati Mataji, I am coming to you. Just 1 second. Let me just finish this till verse number 15. Verse number 13. What is the theme of verse number 13? It is a very important verse for memorization. I think many of you must be already knowing this verse. So this verse is telling us the purpose of Varnashram. So previously, in the preceding verses, we negated artha and kam and everything. So now, okay, then what is the real Varnashram Dharma? Can you explain? So telling not this is one thing, but tell us what is. Okay, this is not, but tell us what is. So what is told in this verse. What is real Varnashram? What is the purpose of Varnashram Dharma? Ata pumbir dvija shrestha varnashrama vibhagasha swanushishtasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. Samsiddhir haritoshanam. This is the key phrase in this verse. What is the purpose of Varnashram? The only purpose of Varnashram is samsiddhir haritoshanam, to please the Lord. O best among the twice born. Suta Goswami is telling all the sages, it is therefore concluded, he is giving conclusion now, that the highest perfection one can achieve. Because see, their question was, what is the essence of scripture for the highest good of everyone? So, therefore it is concluded that dharmasya samsiddhi, the perfection of dharma, siddhi means perfection, dharmasya samsiddhi. What is the highest perfection of dharma one can achieve? It is samsiddhir haritoshanam, to please Lord Hari. If Krishna is happy, then everything is perfect. Everything is perfect. That is the purpose of Varnashrama. Ata Pumbi means for all the human beings. O Dvija Shrestha, O Shaunakadi Rishis. Varnashrama, the purpose of Varnashram, where there are 4 Varnas and 4 ashrams. There is a Grihastha ashram, Brahmacharya ashram, Vanaprastha and Sannyas ashram. And there are Varnas also. There is Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Vibhagasha. Chaturvarnam Maya Shreshtam, Gunakarma, Vibhagasha. These divisions are there, and for our own dharma, they prescribe your own prescribed duties. Swanutishtasya, dharmasya. But what is the samsiddhi? What is the perfection of this own prescribed duty? Haritoshanam. To please Hari. That is the conclusion. And verse number 14. Verse number 14, after samsiddhir haritoshanam, it again emphasizes that one should be one pointed in practice of Krishna consciousness. And when we are hearing, when we are glorifying, we are remembering, we are worshipping, we should be one pointed. Krishna does not like multi-branched devotees. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana bhahushaka hyananta buddhayo avyavasayana. It will not lead to Krishna if we are multi-branched. We should be focused. As students of Bhakti Vaibhava, as followers of Srila Prabhupada, we should become very focused. Other day I was talking to one devotee and she was telling me that this also, that also, now Navaratra is coming, Devi Basna Rahe, now Ganpati is coming, Ganpati Basna Rahe. See, nothing is wrong. These are not wrong things. These are all there in the scriptures. But our path is that of Ananya Bhakti.
Srila Rupa Goswami did not come to give demigod worship. Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita does not give demigod worship. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not support demigod worship. So this is our parampara, we should understand. And this is a path of going back to Golok Vrindavan. Nikunja yenu ratikeli siddhe yayali. That is our, we have to go into the Nikunja of Golok Vrindavan. Every morning we are singing in Mangalarti, Samsara, Guru Ashtakam. Shri Radhika Madhava. Our Guru Maharaj is Pratikshana Aswadana Rulpasya Vande Guroshi Charanarvindam. Every moment he is tasting the nectar of serving Radha and Krishna, Radha and Madhav. In the 5th verse of our Mangalarti, we are singing every morning. And as servants of our Guru Maharaj, we are servants of the servants. Gopi Bhartu Padakamalar, Das, Das, Anudas. So if that is the sadhya, if that is the aim of our life, then we have to become Ananya. We have to become Ananya. Prem gali ati sathari tame dona samay. The path of devotion is very narrow. And two things cannot fit, only one thing. Ananya chintayanto mam, Krishna says. Ananya chintayanto mam. So like in a sheath, two swords don't fit, only one sword will fit. So Krishna says, Yanti devata devan, pitranti pitrimatan, bhutani yanti bhuteja, mad bhakta yajino bimam. Clearly Krishna says, those who worship the demigods, they will go there. Those who worship the forefathers there. Those who worship the ghosts and spirits will go there. But those who worship me will come to me. So therefore, we have to take this path of Ananya Bhakti. We should really be one-pointed. And that is what this verse teaches. Tasmad ekena manasa. Bhagavan satvatam pati. Shrotavya kirtitavyascha. Dheya pujascha nityada. This is a memorization verse. Fantastic, beautiful verse. Verse number 14. Let's see. Therefore, with one pointed attention, ekena manasa, one should constantly hear, glorify, and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the protector of the devotees. He is always the protector of the devotees. Satvatam Patihi. He is our Pati. Once Srila Mahavishnu Maharaj, a very great spiritual master in our International Society for Krishna Consciousness, a very devout follower of Srila Prabhupada, His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj. He was traveling in a train and he was reading Srila Prabhupada's Krishna book. When the station came, he was about to get down and one person was watching him. He said, Maharaj, you are getting down. In one line, tell me the essence of what you are reading in Srimad-Bhagavatam. So I don't know the exact words, but spontaneously, His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, he replied, Krishna tumhare pati, Krishna tumhari gati, Krishna se karo rati, or Krishna mein lagao mati. He gave this essence. Vasudeva para Veda, Vasudeva para Makha, Vasudeva para Yoga, Vasudeva para Kriya, Vasudeva param Jnanam, Vasudeva param Tapa, Vasudeva paro Dharmo, Vasudeva paragati. Get this essence. Krishna tumhare pati, Satvatam pati. Pati means one who protects, one who does palan. Krishna is our protector. Krishna is our everything. Therefore, we should be one-pointed. When we hear about Krishna, when we glorify Krishna, and when we worship Krishna, not that on the altar we have Navagraha and all the demigods. Even if you are worshipping demigods, if you are worshipping Ganeshji, then we should worship Ganeshji in the mood that this is the Ganeshji who is described in Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur's Chaitanya Bhagavat, who was the first Devta to come and dance in the Sankirtan after Jagai and Madhai were liberated. He was in so much ecstasy. In Yamaraja's Sankirtan, Ganeshji is dancing with Kartikeya. Oh, this is my Ganeshji who is dancing in Nam Sankirtan. This is my Ganeshji described in Brahma Samhita. Yatpada pallav yugam vinidhaya kumbhadvandve pranama samai saganadhiraja vignan vihantum balamasya jagatrasya govindam adi purusham tamam bhajami. My Govinda who's keeping the lotus feet of Govinda, my Ganeshji who is keeping the lotus feet of Govinda on his head and becoming the Vignaharta for Jagatrayasya, for all the three worlds. My Ganeshji. This is my Ganeshji who is mentioned by Srila Rupa Goswami in the beginning of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, that he removes all the obstacles on the path of Krishna Bhakti. This is my Ganeshji. If you are worshipping Shankar Bhagwan, Lord Shiva, we should think this is my Gopeshwar Mahadev. He is Gopeshwar Mahadev. He is a Vrindavan Maharaj. He is the protector of the Dham Vrindavan. He is the guardian of the Rasa Leela.
no gopi can enter the Raslila without the permission of Gopishwar Mahadev. This is my Gopishwar Mahadev. He will give me entrance into Raslila under the guidance of my Guru Maharaj. So this should be our mood. If you are worshipping Durga Devi, oh, she is the Durga Devi that appeared to who was praying to Gauranga Mahaprabhu in Simandweep, in Navadvip. She is that Durga Devi who is blessed by Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So we have to become Ananya in our worship and everything. So that is the theme of verse number 14. Last verse for today. Sorry, dear devotees, we went over time 15 minutes. Verse number 15. What happens when you practice bhakti properly? All the knots are cut. All the knots are cut. Karma granthi nibandhanam chindanti kovidastasya. With sword in hand, intelligent men, what do they do? The Kovida, what do? They cut the binding knots of karma, reactionary work, by remembering the personality of Godhead. Remembering personality of God, that is most important. Chintan is very, very important. Remembering the Lord, smaranam. Therefore, who will not pay attention to his message? So, Srila Sutta Goswami is saying that we must hear Krishna Katha. We must worship. Shrotavya, Kirtitavya. We must glorify Krishna. Worship him. And then he says, by doing this, karma granthi nibandhanam. Chindanti. It will cut the karma granthi, the hard knots of punarapi janamam, punarapi maranam, attachment in this material world. All those knots will be cut. So such a great benefit is there. So who will not hear Katharatim? Who will not attentively hear Krishna Katha? He's asking that question. So he's stressing the importance of hearing Krishna Katha attentively. Now from verse number 16, the theme changes and the process of Bhakti Yoga, the progress, the different levels of Bhakti Yoga will be described. So that we will discuss day after tomorrow. So my dear friends, again, sorry for going over time. I will stop here. So Swati Mataji, you had raised your hand. Can you unmute yourself? If you have the question, and I'm also going to look at the chat box. So there is one question.
Sorry, Prabhuji, by mistake.
Oh, by mistake you raised your hand. No problem. So there is one question here by Rashmi Mataji. Could you confirm what is the contribution of Naranara and Rishi towards Srimad-Bhagavatam and why they were offered obeisances in particular? Because Naranara and Rishi are staying in the same place where Srila Vyasadeva stays. They are close associates and they are very great devotees. They are glorified extensively in Srimad-Bhagavatam. Naranara and Rishis. They are glorified in the 12th canto also. So, and they are one of the proponents and teachers of Srimad-Bhagavatam. So obeisances are being offered to all the great teachers of Srimad-Bhagavatam, including Naranara and Rishi. So I hope that is okay, Rashi Mataji. Then Jog Sonali Mataji is asking, she has the same question about Naranara and Rishi. So I hope it is clear now. Naranara and Rishi are very dear to Krishna. Even when Krishna was planning to leave this world, he called Uddhavji and he told him that I am going to send you on a very special mission. Go to Badrikashram, go to Naranara and Rishi, give them your association. I could not give them my association. You give them your association. And all the sadhus also there. And he also gave some secret message for Naranara and Rishi, which he said you deliver it to them. He told Uddhavji. Adhokshaja, please can you explain the meaning of this name of Krishna? Thank you, Sonali Jog Mataji, for asking this question. Because it was on my plan to explain the meaning of Adhokshaja, but I just forgot. We had so much to cover. This chapter is very vast. So Adhokshaja, Srila Prabhupada, in one of the classes I personally heard, he explains what is the meaning of Adhokshaja. The Sanskrit letters, they start like in English, they start from A to Z, A to Z. The 26 alphabets of English language. Similarly, Sanskrit language, it starts from A and ends with Ksha. So A and Ksha. This is the complete gamut of Sanskrit letters. Srila Prabhupada was explaining that everything that we know in the Vedas, everything that we know in our Vedic literature through Sanskrit language, everything that has been spoken, everything that has been heard is in the realm of these letters of Sanskrit. A to Ksha. So Aksha means all the knowledge that we have through language, through hearing, through studying. And adha means to humble or to push it down. So Krishna is called adhokshaja, and ja means janma. So all the knowledge that has been produced, it is produced by writing between these letters A to Z, or A to Ksha. So aksha ja. Remember, aksha ja means everything that has been born by all this combination, permutation of these different letters from A to Ksha, ja. Everything that we know. But everything that we know, everything that we have heard, everything that we have seen, Krishna humbles it and pushes it down and makes it insignificant. That is called adha. Adha means to push down. So Krishna, who humbles whatever we have learned, Krishna, who is beyond the knowledge that can be acquired by the language, Krishna is Veda Agamya. He is Ved Agochar. He cannot be even caught by the Vedas. So Krishna, who is beyond all description, Krishna, who is beyond all understanding, Krishna, who humbles our senses, our intelligence, is Adhokshaja, the Supreme Lord, who is beyond everything. So is that okay, Sonali Mataji?
Yes, thank you so much. It's wonderful.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada explains. Aradhya Madhavi Mataji. What does self-preservation mean in verse number 10? Okay, so let's quickly go to verse number 10. Okay, so life's desires, self-preservation. Self-preservation means survival. So we should only accept things that will keep our body and soul together. So whatever is required to maintain a healthy body. Not too much. Not too much. Means excessively collecting things, atyahar, or excessively eating, or excessively doing things for the body, for makeup or whatever. So all that is excess for devotees. So we should just do what is required. We should wear simple clothes. They should be clean. They should be washed. They should not have foul smell. We should bathe at least 2 times a day. Our body should be clean. Our teeth should be clean. There should be no smell in the mouth, in the body. So that is basic, to keep the body clean for Krishna's service. But anything more than that, taking Botox injections and all those things, doing a facelift surgery, that is all excess. So self-preservation means to keep the body and soul together. Whatever is required to keep our body healthy for bhajan, for seva, that we should do. Is that okay, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay. Then we have Mukta Sangha Prabhu. Please clarify these questions. Okay, there are several questions, Mukta Sangha Prabhu. So is it okay if I put it on just send them to me on WhatsApp and I will put it on the group?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So now let's just take those who have raised their hands. Divya Mataji and then Shanta Radhika Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, I wanted to ask about Neti Neti. I've come across this so many times. What does that mean?
Yeah, Neti Neti is a branch of philosophy called Sankhya Philosophy, where you come to the conclusion by negation. Okay, but you analyze everything and you say, oh, not this, not this. For example, if somebody is asked, Beta, who is your father? Okay, I'm going to do DNA testing of all the men who could potentially be my father. And you get the report, not this, not this, not this. You do it on millions and millions of men. And finally you find one match. Oh, this is my father. That is Sankhya philosophy, analyzing. That is one way, Neti Neti. But that takes long time. Not this, not this. Instead, go to authority who has already realized the truth and ask him, what is the highest, like the Shaunakadi Rishis did? And that you will directly get answer. Vasudeva Bhagavati, Bhakti Yoga Praj, Janate Ashu Vairagya, Gyanam Ahetukam. Immediately you will get the answer. So that is the path of descending knowledge. That is the path of Sharanagati. That is the path of Tadvidi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya. Upadhyakshadite Jnanam Jnaninas Tattvadarshina. Go to a Tattvadarshi Guru and get your answer. That is our process. Descending, Guru Parampara system. How Prabhupada writes, Guru Parampara in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, at the end of introduction, like that. So there are 2 methods. There is ascending method where you analyze, or you just ask your mother, who is my father? And the mother will say, that is your father. That is Bhakti Yoga. Is that okay, Divya Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Shanta Radhika Mataji, and then last question will be Saujanya Mataji. Then we'll end. I'm sorry, it's getting very late. I know in India it is early morning. So Shanta Radhika Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Pranam Prabhuji. I don't know whether my question is significant or not, but just a query. Like in first verse, you said ki Shukdev Goswami expanded into the trees, into the heart. Then why specifically trees mentioned?
Because Shukdev Goswami was entering the forest and there were only trees there. So Shukdev Goswami replied to his father through the trees. Because only trees were there. That's why. Is that okay?
Yes, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Saujanya Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It's not a question, but small clarification. Like the first verse started with Ugra Shrava, like attentively listening, and then 15th also ended with attentively listening. Is it just a coincidence, or maybe that's how that 1 to 15 is?
So, yes.
Because when you said 15, you said, see here also it's emphasizing about hearing attentively.
Yes, Mataji. So, the whole theme is attentively hearing. So, before Suta Goswami is going to start telling everything, he wants to make sure that everybody is hearing attentively. So, you are right. That's a good connection. That this verse also talks about, 15th verse also talks about attentive, who will not hear the message of the Lord. Ko na kuryat katharati. Very nice. So the process of hearing is emphasized here.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So I think we are done. I don't see, except Mukta Sangha Prabhu's questions, I don't see anything else. There is one, Ramsham Prabhu, verse 9, please have some details on Apavargasya. What details? Apavargasya means for liberation. And the liberation that Srimad-Bhagavatam talks about is liberation in service to Krishna, going to Krishna Lok, going to Vrajdham. That is what Srimad-Bhagavatam points towards. And Amrit Gaurangi Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams. So is Sukadeva Goswami a Diksha Guru of Suta Goswami when they say spiritual master?
The parampara that we have, it is not necessarily a Diksha parampara. So I have not come across any information where Suta Goswami got Diksha from Srila Shukdev Goswami. In fact, as far as I have heard, Shukdev Goswami was Avdut. So Shukdev Goswami he himself did not go through the reformatory ceremonies. He himself did not wear kopin or Brahmin thread, and he was completely Avdut. So there is no question of Diksha for a Avdut like Srila Shukdev Goswami. But similarly, there is no mention of Rupa and Sanatan Goswami getting Diksha from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu either. Our parampara is not necessarily that of a Diksha parampara. More important than Diksha is Shiksha. Srila Baldev Vidya Bhushan also was not a Diksha disciple of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, but he performed the greatest service for his Guru Maharaj by going to Jaipur and rescuing Srimati Radharani. So more important is Ugra Shrava, who has heard with greatest intensity. When Srila Prabhupada's name was recommended for initiation by his god brothers, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur immediately said, yes, I will give him first and second initiation together. Why? Because he likes to hear. He doesn't go away, Srila Prabhupada said. Srila Prabhupada had noticed that quality in Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur had noticed that quality in Srila Prabhupada. So our parampara is of hearing and taking shiksha. Is that okay? Amrit Gaurangi Mataji?
So does it mean that if one doesn't take Diksha but just keep listening and taking the Siksha, is that good for Kaliyugites?
It is better to take Shiksha and take shelter and accept the instructions of Guru than to take Diksha and not follow. So if one takes Diksha and follows, that is first class, that is best. But even if there is no Diksha, but one has received the message properly and one has surrendered. You see, if you see the 64 items of devotional service in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, we have all studied this in our Bhakti Shastri. So there are 64 items of devotional service mentioned by Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. First one is Guru Padashraya. Then comes Diksha. So Guru Padashraya is first. So if one has taken Guru Padashraya, formal Diksha may not have happened. But Guru Padashraya, one has surrendered to the lotus feet of Shri Guru and heard the message, heard the instructions, and incorporated those instructions in one's life. That is much better than taking a formal diksha but not following. But if one gets an opportunity to take formal diksha and also follow properly, then that is the best. That is the best. So diksha is important. Diksha is a very holy and sacred tradition and samskar in our line, and everyone must take diksha. But the point is, more important than diksha is shiksha. If we can get diksha and shiksha both, that is first class. But even if we get shiksha, that is sufficient. That is sufficient. Srila Prabhupada, once when devotee had taken initiation, and 4 days later he left ISKCON. So devotees came and they informed Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada said, oh, he was never initiated. He had gotten initiated. Prabhupada said he was never initiated. Why? Because he never took it. He never took Guru Padashraya. He never took Shiksha. He took Diksha, but he didn't take Shiksha. So without Shiksha, Diksha is no Diksha. Because Srila Jiva Goswami defines what is Diksha. It has got 2 words, 2 syllables. The word Diksha has 2 syllables. Diksha. Correct? So Divya Dhyanam Yato Dadyad, that is the Diksha. Kuryat Papasa Shangshanam. Diksha. Sha is Kuryat Papasa Shangshanam. Tasmat Dikshiti Saprokta Deshika Tattva Kovida. That the Kovida, the learned persons, what do they call as Diksha? 2 things should happen. Divya Jnanam Yato Dadyad and Kuryat Papasa Shangshanam. All the sins should be destroyed and we should receive transcendental knowledge from Shri Guru. The transcendental knowledge is Shiksha. And Kuryat Papasa Shangshanam is following the 4 regulative principles, where we don't commit any sins after we are initiated. We follow whatever we have taken vows, we follow them properly. That is a real disciple. So following this, doing angikar, accepting it in our life is more important than formal initiation. But formal initiation is a very sacred, I repeat, very sacred, very holy and very important samskar in our line. And everyone should aspire and try to get Diksha. But as far as Shukdev Goswami and Suta Goswami are concerned, there is no mention. Even there is no mention of Mahaprabhu giving Diksha. He didn't give Diksha to Gopal Bhatta Goswami or Venkat Bhatta or Prakashananda Saraswati or Jagai Madai. Haridas Thakur was not initiated. So our line is not necessarily a line of Diksha, although Diksha is there and it is very important. But main thing is Shiksha. And I'm saying this because sometimes a devotee may leave one's body even without undergoing the samskar of Diksha. So nothing is lost. Bhakti is so powerful that if in our heart we have accepted someone as our Guru, then there is absolutely nothing to lose, because the mercy of Guru is with us. The Akhanda Guru Tattva is always with us. Does that make sense, Amrit Daurangi Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much for the elaborate and detailed answer. Thank you. I'm indebted. Hare Krishna.
Dasos. Shamchandra Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. Just a small comment, especially for scientific-minded souls. This so Anubhavam. I was able to connect this to what my Guru Maharaj, Shripad, used to say as Vijnanam, or applied spiritual technology. When you one is Jnanam, knowledge, but when you apply it, that is actually so Anubhavam. So I was able to connect this 2 together and then make it more scientific, applied spiritual technology.
Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
Thank you. Thank you for adding that, Shamchandra Prabhu. Shamchandra Prabhu is a disciple of Srila Bhakti Swarup Damodar Goswami Maharaj. Dr. Singh, we read in Prabhupada Lilamrit extensively. So, Shripad Maharaj. So, very grateful, Prabhuji, for adding that. So, if I don't see any more hands raised. So, we'll stop here. And Mukta Sangha Prabhu's questions I will answer separately on the group. Is that okay? So, thank you, dear devotees. Sorry for going over time. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Nande Hari Hari Hare Krishna Prabhuji Radhe Radhe Hare Krishna Radhe Radhe